Hey everyone, Nick Shaheen here looking at Roku. This is something I track more than I trade, and I did help a few people trade it in the chat room. So this is an update to whatever video I did on it last. I can't remember exactly all that was said. I usually watch them before I do a video, but this time I'm just running out of time. So wanted to first of all try to give you perspective on what you hear in the news and the hoopla that everybody creates. So for the last 2 days, all you can hear from CNBC, buy this, buy that, beauty of they're grabbing, they're buying this and they're buying that, and it's all tech. I don't have if you've tracked me for a long time, I am almost never bearish, but when I see freaking stupidity slapping us in the face, I have to point it out. If you take out the mega caps, which are the Fang Gang, Apple and Microsoft, the top 10 stocks, take the mega caps out of the talk, out of the conversation of what's bullish. The rest sounds like 2,000 eyeballs. Cloud this, cloud that. Anything that has to do with the cloud, they're grabbing it. Regardless, $20 to $200 on Wayfarer, for example. What? Okay, so Beyond Meat, Twilio, everything. It's just going to the moon. It's never going to fall, right? So for 3 days, that's all the talk. Sorry, the chat room was open. All the talk for 3-4 days. How long is the run? We haven't had it since February, whatever, January, December. I just can't stomach it. I used to watch CNBC a little bit to see what the sheeple are thinking, but just now it's become garbage, absolute garbage and disgusting. So this is a visual to show you how complete conviction turns into complete mess. This is the QQQ, the strongest thing on the planet. That was so close to all-time high. That is so wrong. We have 30 million people at least out of work in the U.S. 30 million. I know the report says 20, but the report 22 doesn't count people who answer no to are you looking for a job. If they're stuck at home, they're not looking for a job. They don't even count. So trust me, it's 30 million people that want to work, at least, that are out of work. There's no goddamn way this is going to be an all-time high market. It's just not right on any level. I don't mind buying particular breakouts, but buying something for the frickin' sake of buying is just ridiculous. Okay, so this is a representation of whatever was certainty at the open was closed on the low and then went lower after the market closed. I'm not saying this is where I start shorting. Technically speaking, they should find a bounce because this was prior level, but this is the visual to it. Back to Roku. I don't have a problem being bullish. In fact, I triggered it long here yesterday. I said above 128 to 128.5. I forget what it was. I can look in the chat room. It's long until 133, 134. It went to 133 or 134, and then it faded, complete retest, and then some. So why didn't it stop at the neckline if it was so conviction rally? It's not. It's a lot of froth. Don't take it against the company. It averted a disaster here, but I'm a guy about levels more so than patterns. But the patterns do work, and I have friends that are amazing chartists. I'm pretty damn good at finding the levels that matter and the candles that stick out. Okay, so let's talk levels for Roku. So if my brother came, by the way, as I'm talking to you, they're still falling. So if I were to if I was on the phone with my brother and he's telling me, okay, so I own Roku, what do I do? So if you didn't sell it up here and you love the stock for the long term, let's see what happens here. Okay, so if I was looking to short Roku, on the break of this arguably is trigger 1, but not very convincingly. On the break of this is trigger 2. On the break of that is trigger 3. And this one will probably carry that, or they try to, with some support. So it will find eventually support at 122 on its way down to 118, if not 114. I'm not calling it down there, but that's what's going to happen if they don't find footing. The first footing is at the low of the day, which is 127 and change. 126 is another little lower. Let's call it 125 and change. I don't know what that number is here. 125 and change. And if they lose 124 and change, so $1 lower, this is going to happen with a stopover here. Now, there could be headlines that come out, but let's put it this way. I have no reason to buy Roku for a trade right here. If it bounces to 130, it's going to find sellers. And if it does that, watch what's going to happen. It's going to come up. Maybe tomorrow somebody will come out before, Kudlow, oh, we're doing great things, blah, blah, blah. And then it's going to do this. It's going to get sold here-ish. It's a zone. And then it's going to come back down to that same neckline that they saved it from. And if that happens, now you're looking at this pattern over here. Same outcome, except maybe a little bit smaller. So something like a zigzag like here. You will find footing here at the same trigger that I was showing, zone, and then finish the job. So at least the charts will let me know what not to do. So I wouldn't catch the falling knife without seeing confirmation of footing. I want to see a trough. That's job one. If you know the company and you're looking for an entry point for the super long term and you're happy with this drop, by all means. If you're looking for a trade, if I was looking for a trade, there's nothing here that tells me it's going to find footing. It may, but I want to see it. I want to miss out on the first few bucks and see it. The trough will be, first of all, stop making new lows. That's number one. And then lower highs is okay, but stop making new lows. And that's how you get the pinch. You flatten, yet you still fall, but you don't make new lows. And then you come to a point, okay, I've got to decide. Bounce, break the wedge up, or a new leg lower. Then you get these ABC things that people talk about. So this is how you talk through a, John Madden. Boom, bam. No, just kidding. But this is, seriously, this is how you say it in plain, simple English. So what is the catalyst up? I just told you. A lower high trend, like it's been doing here. And if it pinches with no more new lows, and this comes down here, people chase the trend break line. I don't like to do that. But if it's a hard line in the floor, I make exceptions. Because as soon as it bounces, it's going to start looking at levels of prior failure and fail at them. So how good is your conviction? The best way is to find a trigger with open air. So this is not a trigger with open air. In fact, this is a ledge that they lost. That's where the resistance is going to start. This whole zone is resistive. When they clear this guy, maybe, but then again you face this one. That's the problem with this chug, chug, chug lower, this channel. It's pretty nasty. So the clearest place to go long Roku is to chase the breakout from here. What? You're going to miss all this? Fine. I'd rather miss $7 of upside than to grab $7 of downside. How about that? So what if I want to get long right now? Well, I can sell puts or put spreads. Puts if I want to own the shares, or put spreads if I don't. I just want to trade the bottom. So if I think there's a bottom here, I'll sell a put spread down here and try to create some income while I wait for this breakout. Maybe I'll do that and buy calls. But all depends on your thesis. I personally don't like the fundamentals for this company. It boggles my mind. But I'm not an expert at it, so if you know it inside and out, you can call me an idiot, and I'll accept it, because I am not an expert at the fundamentals of this company. All I know is they've been in business for freaking ever, and they still can't turn a profit when everybody's stuck at home and doing nothing but streaming all day. So, and it still sells at 13 times its earning. And, price to revenue, so 13 times about the price of sales a full year, trailing 12 months. That's what they usually show. And still no profits. What the hell do they need? What kind of an environment do they need in order to make money when everybody's stuck at home doing nothing but streaming and they still can't make money? I'm sure they have a reason, but I don't know it. So you might. Let's go out to a daily chart. Let's take out all the drawings. By the way, this was foretold as soon as we lost this, and I charted it. So if you were in the group, you know what I'm talking about. This here, that's the point I told you, I would chase. And true to my form is I have triggers up here. The better place would be up there. But I'm willing to jump the gun, maybe. But what about this? What the hell was that? This was an immediate puke. It's like, yay! No, wait. Blech. You can ignore it maybe for COVID, but it's happened before. So this whole zone has been consolidated as heavy. So what they would need is they would need a lot of action to establish it as a battle zone rather than just a resistance zone. You know what I mean? So a little bump above that, boom, 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 boom. So you can establish more trading. So you would have a good, right now they're going into the point of control, which is actually the mathematical place where they sold and bought it the most. It's sticky. So on the way up, it's resistance. On the way down, it becomes support. So if they can clear it, they can start using it as support, and then they give more conviction for those who are long it. So this is my view on Roku. Again, I have nothing against the company. You know, the RSI is kind of falling where the price isn't. That shouldn't happen. It could happen, but it's not a rule. Like, I wouldn't short it just based on that. Just another layer. How about this? A drop towards 115 is buyable. 120 even. I'd like it much better closer to 120 than up where it was this morning at 135, 136. It was not an obvious place to chase. Boy, it came pretty close to triggering my first alert, and I put it because of this guy. But then they made this, and I must have reset it or something, because otherwise it would have triggered. Strange. I have to look into why did it not trigger. Okay, I must have reset it here then, yesterday or 2 days ago. So this is a closer look. This is a 2-hour candle, and it shows you how the 2 hours were emphatic rejection, and it's falling into some support. You know, this level here is support. So what happens around 124 is important. This is a different time frame. We get different clues. So they need to hold it. This is a different way of looking at exactly what I just told you. It's not game over for the stock, but it wasn't game on up here. That's really the point of this video. So find the entry points that make sense, logical sense. Let me see if I put the drawings on there. Anyway. All right, Nick signing out. Oh, by the way, I am not short the stock. I was up here, and that paid, but I'm not short here. This was a place to be short, and that was stop 1 and stop 2, and it played out. It was a short-term debit put spread, nothing insane. Same reasons, technical reasons. After a big pop, it had hit a target, and I said, okay, that was too much. All right, Nick signing out.